style almost, and it was very graphic, and I thought it was well done. It was the story of Sub-Zero. It's kind of the played out story, but
yeah,
at least
most of them are the
well.
story of Sub-Zero and Scorpion at this point.
Yeah.
It's popular. The top popular characters, right?
All right, Dan, I'm going to send you the let's merge and stuff thing.
Do the things.
Bump uglies.
Yeah, there we go. Send that invite over to you. And Clean, you're not live, right?
Not tonight, no.
Nope. All right, and then I'm going to do the shared chat is enabled. I've got all the stream together stuff muted, so it's all restream, and that's it.
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Chat, Dan and I's streams chats are now merged, so if you're here, you're there. And we're all watching the same thing on my screen for the most part. So,
and we are happy to have you here.
I was live for R rating last week. Like, what are you talking about?
In fact, now that the streams are merged, I'm gonna fix this Windows setup because I can. I don't need to have that there. I can do this. Check this out. Whoops. I guess I can't make it that cool.
Asking for push-ups mid R rating. I think this movie is great, and to showcase it, I'm going to do 17 push-ups plus 1 for good luck.
There is always a plus 1. You're right.
I watch you.
Oh, so kind.
Okay, so I was kind of thinking about R rating, and I keep watching the videos, and I'm enjoying them, and I think they're fine. And I'm looking at the view numbers, and I'm like,
butt coming.
Why is there not more views on these things? And I think maybe it's, I don't know. I don't understand. I enjoy it. I see more and more people are coming and watching the live streams and engaging in chat, and it seems very interactive and fun. And so I think it's going great. The only thing I can possibly think of is that maybe the videos that we're posting to YouTube are too long, and we could try and be more concise in some way. And I don't know if that's something you guys want to even explore, or if you like the format that we're doing. But I've been thinking a lot about numbers. For some reason, I'm on one of those cycles where I want to try and boost numbers for all my stuff and get into the metrics and all that crap. So I was curious what you guys think about that. Like, should I be taking notes about Axel Foley and coming like ahead of time messaging you guys and say, hey, I'd like to hit on these 3 key points. Maybe I can hammer them in and you guys can reply to them, and then we'll switch to somebody else and we'll knock it out a little faster, a little bit more choreographed. I don't want it. I don't want it to be staged. I don't know. I'm just
flagged. It's called flagged. Yeah, you want it flagged.
Yeah, flagged. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's a good term.
Keeps us on an even keel projection of time.
Yeah. And it might even be easier for Dan's editing process, because if we stick to those flags, he can kind of know how to chop it down a little bit. And if there's one of those that are kind of boring or whatever, we can just swipe it out.
Right.
Maybe try and keep it a little shorter. That's the only thing I can think of is I watch him and I'm kind of like about 2/3 of the way through the video, I'm kind of like, okay, this might be the point where people are falling off because we're kind of bouncing back and forth and rehashing things.
I think there's definitely been a couple of videos that are guilty of that. I think there's been some videos where we've gone for hour and a half even, and we barely, like, it's super movie dependent, because there's been some times where we barely rehash anything, and there's other movies where it feels like we are just hagging on the same like 5 things over and over and over again, right? Like there's only so much you can talk about the 7th dinosaur movie in a row without having something original to say.
And
whereas you get like a Prometheus,
I'm like the king of ramble on here. I know that
we've noticed
the number one. Yeah, I'm not pointing fingers anywhere but here, but I'm just saying.
But like, as I'm saying, like there's movies like Prometheus or 29 Years Later where I feel like they legitimately 28 years later. Sorry. I'm reading my Happy Gilmore thing, which is 29 years after the original Happy Gilmore. Sorry about that. Where they bring like a legit discussion, I feel like, and we all bring a little bit something different to the table, and we're actually talking about the movie for an hour. And then there's ones like Rebirth. I'm just gonna hang on that because the most recent one, where it's just like, we're still doing this. We're still doing this. Are they still doing this? They're still doing this. Oh, look, another dinosaur. Yeah, it's just like that for like an hour.
A few times, and we're talking about like other movies.
Yeah, because we're so done with that movie. We're talking about other things in life.
Well, and like okay, you know what? I'm gonna call my shot, I guess, a little bit. I don't have a ton to say about tonight. I have no idea what I'm going to say about next. I've never seen 2, 3, or Axel F. So who knows what we'll say about those ones. I've only seen this movie once, now twice. I don't have a ton to say about it. Now, usually the three of us get talking and I just like find things to say just in conversation.
Naturally, yeah.
But if this was like, hey, Dan, do a 10-minute review on Beverly Hills Cop, I'd be like, I got like a minute and a half tops. Like, what do you want me to say after that? Like, I'll have to go in production notes or something. I'm like, it was good.
I think part of it too, though, like in the case of Beverly Hills Cop, it's been around for 30 years, right? 40 years. So what hasn't been said about the movie that we are going to like, we're not bringing anything really new to the table, I don't think. Not that that's a bad thing, but it does go to point that maybe it doesn't need to be as long as some of the other new movies that haven't been discussed as much across the internet.
Right. And there's not a ton of depth to this movie. A simple plot, simple story. So it's more of how does this hold up in today's time? What do we expect from the upcoming films? And then good points and bad points of the movie. And we really keep it pretty simple. I've got a few things that I really enjoyed about this movie that I wanted to hit on. But you're right. There isn't a ton of depth to this. It's a pretty simple, basic film. I'm not saying it's bad, but I think it's going to be quick and easy.
I mean, that was one of the positives compared to my last week's rant.
Yeah.
Dan's still
so
editing.
There's that. And then for anybody joining us in chat, some of us are going to be doing Sunder Sundays, which is we play Sunder Folk. It's a digital tabletop game, kind of like, not at all like Dungeons and Dragons, but it's wizards and stuff. And
it's exactly Dungeons and Dragons.
It's not, because that's something I want to talk to Runs about. Sorry, Run, we're interrupting your rant.
No, go ahead.
You said a couple of times that you want to do something similar to Critical Role.
Yes.
My question with that is, I've not watched Critical Role, but I've played D&D before. Most of the fun comes from the world building and the story. Right. And in Sunderfolk, we're not paying attention to the story.
The game is what the game is.
Like, Will actually killed it when we were playing the game last time. He's like, so this is just a D&D combat simulator?
Exactly.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it. But I want to hear more about what you're seeing for the Sunder, whatever the fuck it's called,
Sunday.
To make it something more than just, oh look, we're gonna move over there and kill that guy. Oh look, we're gonna move over there and kill that guy. So like, please elaborate. So I'd love to hear from it.
We do have the game that you play. So one person is taking a turn, and then everyone else in the game has to take a turn. It's a 4-player game, so 3 more people have to take a turn, and then all the enemies have to take a turn. So once you've made your turn, you're kind of just sitting there waiting for everybody else to take a turn. And you can be talking about that strategy of where you're pushing people, jumping over people, casting certain spells, trying to get to bonuses and buffs and things like that on the battlefield. So there is the strategy talk of how you're playing the game, but it's not hyper fast. It's not super in depth, at least not in the beginning of the game. It's pretty basic. So there's that, but there's a lot of time to just chat about stuff. And when we were first playing it, the 4 of us had no trouble talking about stuff. We're a bunch of the same guys that we get together all the time, and we talk about movies, TV, video games, all the usual stuff. But since I'm bringing in 6 people, so 4 players and 2 replacements, whoever's not playing the game is going to be quasi-hosting it, and I have special things, and I'm not sure if I want to talk about them yet, but I've given both Bridget and Mrs. Hillary a list of some things that will generate conversation for us, so we can be laughing about these stupid conversation topics while we're playing the game, and chat can answer questions and ask questions of us as well, so that it keeps that environment of fun and interactivity between not only our group, but with chat as well. And I'm hoping that's something that people want to get in on and have fun. So it's a relaxed, let's play tabletop game environment while we talk about these silly things.
That sounds fantastic.
And I don't know if I have sent to you guys in Discord what I planned on, but I didn't want to tell Chad about it just yet. I want people to find out.
Don't spoil anything.
I don't want to spoil it. So I'm excited. And the stuff that I gave to Hillary and Bridget, I haven't even read through myself. So I'm not even sure how good that's going to be. It could be a total train wreck disaster, but that'll be fun too. So I think it's going to be interesting. And each week I was going to continue putting in these topical things for us to chat about that have a different theme each time. So I'm hoping it's fun. I mean, we had a pretty big turnout and it was just my stream. I think if the 4, 5, or 6 of us are all live streaming, sharing chat together, bringing new people in to meet new people, I think we could maybe get some traction with it. And I'm really pushing to keep this thing a maximum 1 hour of recorded footage. I'll be there 30 minutes early to kind of warm up. And as soon as it's over, I'm probably going to just be like out the door. And then I will edit it down and repost it to YouTube later. I won't be just live streaming it to YouTube. I'm actually going to filter it and cut it down.
Nice.
And send it over there. So I'm ready to kind of get back in the game and do some editing and do some creative work and push some numbers and pull some levers and fight the algorithm and all that stuff.
Good luck. It sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it so much. I do it constantly, but I hate it so much.
Right. Yeah. I'll do it for about a month until my soul dissipates completely. And then I'll be like, fuck this.
That checks out. That sounds about right. Okay.
But between our rating and Sunder Sundays, I would have 2 scheduled streams that I can fit into my schedule. And that's kind of huge for me because I just don't have time for stuff.
Yeah, but it's good to have some sort of consistency or scheduling for that, right?
For sure. It's a nice improvement over the 0 that it's been for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not chirping you when I say that. Legitimately, I'm looking forward to you being back on the air.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that if we're dual streaming our rating, it'll help in some way. It can't hurt. At least I'll have a regular scheduled stream that people can find me at.
Absolutely. And hey, like as you mentioned, I think in chat, like the more eyes on this, the better. So
yeah.
They look so disinterested. I'm just working on some stuff behind the scenes before we get started. That's all. We haven't actually started the show yet. Hence, the curtains are closed.
And I'm disinterested. No, just kidding.
So, Will, tell me about your background. You got muted before you could explain to me.
I just Googled interior police station and whatever was free, I just pulled out. So it looks like some sort of stupid waiting room. I don't know. It kind of looks more like a courtroom of some kind.
Well, it's definitely the Detroit Police Department, not the Beverly Hills Police Department.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
We could talk about the interior of the Beverly Hills Police Department.
Absolutely.
We could talk about.
Definitely looks a little AI imagery here, which I hate, but I was on short timeline for this one. So
so this seems like it's been kind of a busy week for all 3 of us. That's kind of fun. That'll be interesting to see how this trailer / movie reaction goes. I just realized I didn't actually put a new, because we've done so many movies back to back to back that have just been like a continuation of a franchise we've already done. I completely forgot to actually grab the logo to put on the poster so we can actually score those things. Like, oh right. And this movie's gonna knock another, well, who knows, maybe this one will not, but theoretically this movie will knock another movie off the main page onto the back page. Or this one will just start off on the back page. That seems unlikely.
Seems pretty low score to be able to hit the back page.
Yeah, back page is a big insult at this point. Like
exactly,
it'd be pretty bad to make the back page.
It would need to be a 40 or lower across the board. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, we're safe. We're safe on this one.
We might be safe on this one for maybe for the entire franchise. We'll see.
I've only ever seen the first one, so I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into.
Did Doolam quit MSF, or is he just getting a clickbait out there? A clickbait title.
Sounds like a quick clickbait to me.
Yeah, it's a 15.5-minute video, and it says "Why I Quit." Scopely pushes me over the edge.
Did he get?
I'm super curious to check that out. I haven't watched Doolam in quite some time because it's the time that he streams, but always was a fan despite all the crap that people give him.
He must be sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends or something. It's clickbait. He's mad about the CC rule changes. Yeah, apparently this season 2 of the rooms didn't work properly. So instead of updating the writing on them. They just made them generic nothing rooms, and so the whole season's pretty bunk.
I'm shocked.
What?
Something
I'm
didn't work.
shocked. They didn't fix their game properly and just let it go?
Weird.
Compensation.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyways.
I don't have anything to warm up on. If you guys want to, we're running a little bit late. Did you want to just jump into this?
I think we can just
I'm good to
jump in at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, I got nowhere to be. I'm probably going to be streaming after this. I'll stream something or other, depending on how I feel in the next hour.
Okay.
But right here, right now, I'm feeling pretty good. If you guys are okay to jump right in, Will, you've got your intro?
Yeah, I got an intro.
Okay. You sound excited about it.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. What am I doing? Okay. Sorry.
Open that curtain, Dan.
No. Give me,
I
don't know, 2 more minutes and then we'll get.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Dan, I'm as much as I do want to finish Split Fiction, and I really do want to finish Split Fiction, I also need to get some sleep tonight, I think. I don't think I'm going to hang out afterwards.
That's totally fair. The fact we didn't do it beforehand, I just assumed it was over.
I've had to do, I had jet lag from my Oregon trip, and then I came back and I'm trying to adjust from late nights, late mornings to switching to early going to bed and then getting up at 5 a.m. and getting back to running and doing things like a 6 to 6 schedule today. And I can't seem to fall asleep. And I'm taking stupid amounts of melatonin to try and knock my ass out. It's just not happening.
No worries at all, sir.
If Highlander was so low, this franchise better be ground level.
That's a hot take.
Bubba Hotep not liking the Foley trilogy?
Bubba Hotep never invited back. Weird.
Hey, how'd your Korean hot dogs go? I never got to watch that.
They were good. Yeah, they were good. Although the biggest problem was after I ordered a dessert and it was like, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like an ice milk shaving within they had like very fine shaving. Like it looked almost like even finer than like shredded coconut. It was like very fine shaved, but frozen, right? And then it's at like different fruits and stuff on there and things like that. And it was like very delicious. It was a super hot day. I was eating outside. And it was very refreshing, but it was like so huge. Chad was like, get this one. And by Chad, I mean Rello. Rello's like, get this one. I should have known it was like $20 or something. It was this massive thing that you're supposed to share. And I ate all of it after eating 2 of these Korean corn dog things. I was just dying. I was just dying by the end of it. But
are the Korean corn dogs called bingsu, or is that the frozen treat you got?
Oh, I think bingsu was the treat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all very tasty and enjoyable, but yeah, my stomach was definitely hurting for a while after that.
Well, I'm sad I missed that. I so seriously enjoy your IRL streams. I try never to miss those.
I mean,
chat's hot over this Foley thing. We got people coming back and forth on Axel.
I mean, some people are hot and cold on Eddie Murphy in general. So, I mean, there's that too. But if you are interested in more IRL streams, tomorrow I am going for another IRL stream. And we're hitting up a place called Pizza Corner. So that's what we're doing tomorrow.
I'm setting an alarm right now. What time is your stream going to be?
I'm going to start at the normal time, which is about an hour earlier than now. And that's probably when we'll head out. Is probably, what is that, 8:30-ish Eastern time, maybe.
Okay, so 7 p.m. my time. I didn't give that alarm a name. I better name it, or I'm never going to know what it was for.
You're just like, what is this?
Alarm just goes off.
Just goes off. I'm like, what is this?
Am I supposed to go to bed now? Okay, I don't know.
Cleans.
Right, I apologize, guys. I am now ready to go.
Shit. There we go. Not literally.
Hope not.
Well, we'll find out. Anything's possible in downtown Halifax.
All right. Okay. Good to go?
Good to go.
Are you good to go?
Finally, I am good to go.
All right, let's do this thing. Beverly Hills Cop, 1984. Foley, a rough and tumble cop from Detroit, makes his way to Beverly Hills to investigate his friend's murder. Between butting heads with the prim and proper police of Beverly Hills and uncovering a well-hidden criminal organization, Foley must get creative to solve the case.
Good, solid.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Our Rating, the show where I get together with two of my friends. We take a movie franchise, break it down by a movie, give it an overall score, throw it up on the board, and see how it compares to the other movie franchises. Today, as always, I'm joined by Will and Brian. Brian, how are you doing today?
I'm just singing the neutron, doing the neutron dance. That's what I'm doing.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
doing the
you
neutron
are.
dance, burning and doing the neutron dance.
Very nice, very nice. How are you, Will?
I'm also loving the music in this movie. I live for it. 80s music, come on, you can't get better than that in an action movie.
Yeah, I mean, good place to start as any. I'll agree. I'm not a huge fan of 80s music, and like the very first tune or two, I was kind of like, eh. But like the theme song for this movie is so good. They played a lot in this movie. It's played a lot, but I really, really like it. It's a classic. Like it's not only, been redone a couple of times in pop culture, but it's also just a fun song on its own. What do you think about it?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to throw it to Brian, but if you got something to say, go for it.
No, I was just going to agree with you. I think just the music in this just kind of gets you in the mood. It's like upbeat throughout most of the movie, and you're just like cruising along in this action movie, having fun. And it's like lighthearted music adds to like the comedic feel. It's well placed.
The movie's theme song, they do play it too much. By the end of the movie, I was like, okay, I'm actually getting sick of hearing this. However, every other song in the movie gets me hyped. I mean, and they have these wonderful shots where they're like just like rolling through Detroit, just showing the culture of the people in Detroit. And then they contrast that later by doing the same thing in Beverly Hills. And they've got these different, songs that they're playing. And those songs are amazing. I really liked it.
Nice.
I like that in general in this movie, the contrast between like the Detroit rundown city, a little harder, more gritty, and then the Beverly Hills uppity kind of snobbish ways, too fancy for their own good. And it, they lack experience because Detroit, you're kind of living in it, and I really like how they kind of paralleled those or contrasted them, I guess, throughout the movie. I thought it was really fun.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I was paying attention to that kind of halfway through. There's a lot of drastic changes between Detroit and California. Shocking, I know. And we see him driving around in this beat up car. He's wearing like a ripped, like a self-ripped, but like a ripped sweater, t-shirt, something most of the movie. But like it never really comes up, does it? Like other than like he has a look on his face when they tell him how expensive the hotel's going to be. But like he never runs into a problem where he can't afford something. He's buying like room service for the cops in the car. Like there's no actual scene or like he's never punished for being poor, right? Like it's just kind of one of those like, look how bad his car is, want, but he still stays at the ridiculous hotel. He's still eating food constantly. Like we didn't really see that be a factor in this movie. But
he's also getting out of the like he's finagling his way. He never pays for the room. He didn't know that. But I had a feeling like if the police department didn't pay for it in the end, I think he was going to come up with some clever way of making somebody else pay for it. Put it on the villain's credit card or whatever.
I was more of the thought that, he was investigating his buddy's murder. It didn't matter the cost. If he goes huge into debt for it, that's just the way it's going to be because he's a good person who's going to solve this case kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But you're not wrong. He probably would have finagled the price down in some way or another because he kind of does that throughout. We kind of see his
for sure
finesse for that kind of thing.
I was just expecting it to play some portion of the plot whatsoever, right? Like even the car being broke down, like other than the one throwaway line to the maitre d' or whatever, the valet, the valet, where he's just like, oh, park it somewhere nice. This happened to it last time, which was a pretty decent line. But like, that's the only time they even really reference. Oh no, he talks to his girlfriend.
His girlfriend about driving the same Nova.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a romantic connection there, but yes.
Well, sure. His friend who was a girl.
Thank you.
And I
No,
liked
yeah.
that there was no chemistry, no romance there. They were old friends and she happened to be a female. And I thought that was cool. This movie was kind of refreshing in that it didn't fall into old tropes. It did things just smoothly and it went along and it was just easy to enjoy. And there wasn't any kind of old cliches or anything. So I enjoyed that. I'm glad that he didn't have, has to rescue the girl at the end. In fact, the way that he rescued the girl at the end was actually the chief of police or whatever teaming up with him to shoot the bad guy. It was, it was very unique in the way that they handled some of those situations. And I was glad that they did that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, saying that, it's not like she was the greatest character written for a female.
No,
unfortunately, she was kind of just used as a damsel in the end. And
none of the characters had a lot of depth, in my opinion.
Yeah, a key to get into the warehouses and such. But you're right, not a lot of characters had the depth. It was more about an action. This is an action comedy. One of the first, I think, like big action comedies that kind of threw that genre into the mix. There's other, obviously, Ghostbusters came out the same year, things like that, but kind of buddy cop action comedies is one of the bigger ones, I think, of its time.
Ghostbusters the next year, is it not?
This
is 84 to Ghostbusters 85?
Oh, maybe it was 85. They're very similar. All I know is he was supposed to be in Ghostbusters and couldn't because he was filming. He decided to accept this as a lead actor, right?
Gotcha.
And honestly, I think it was a good choice. I think this movie worked well with him. He played a refreshingly different version of the cop in it, and I enjoyed watching him. It felt very fluid and like, I don't know if he was completely scripted or if they let him off the chain a bit for this. It sure felt like they did.
I can tell you.
Well, let's hear it. Will's always got the background information for us.
Yeah. He kind of ad-libbed throughout the entire movie. Just kind of, he's a stand-up comedian. He's quick-witted. So there was a formally written script, but they were constantly changing that script as Eddie Murphy kind of ad-libbed throughout scenes, made up scenes as he went, things like that. And so a lot of times actors wouldn't get their lines until like an hour before the scene was being shot, just because they had to tweak the script from previous recordings that Eddie Murphy maybe changed the lines on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would have assumed that most of this movie did have a script, but those times where he is just talking impossibly fast, it's almost like Robin Williams. Like, there's no way he's got a script for that. That is just him off the cuff saying whatever makes sense to him or whatever he thinks is going to be funny at the time, and everybody else has to kind of like keep up or play along. I don't know how well you could. Maybe they have some idea where he's going with what he's about to say, but most of what he has to say, I have to assume at that speed, is just free flowing.
Yeah, and there was a lot of times where they had to retake shoots because, cast and crew were breaking up from what he was saying. You can even tell, like, when he's talking about Taggart and what's his name being like super cops,
Billy.
That whole scene, Taggart's like kind of going like this, like shaking his head, but he's actually laughing into his hand. So they didn't want to mess it up because, they have 3 cameras on, they're catching everybody. And he was riffing, right? So it's a lot of fun.
Speaking of Taggart and Billy, Will, which one of those two was your favorite character in this, Taggart or Billy?
Well, I think I am Billy more than Taggart, so I kind of gravitate towards him. I'm kind of like the bumbling, like, I'm gonna do this. I can't say no to doing good, even though I'm not supposed to. And he just kind of seemed more of like the comic relief, which I kind of gravitate towards. But I just like them as a team. I think they had pretty good chemistry overall as the buddy cops.
And Dan, are you going to say Taggart or Billy? Who's your favorite?
He looks like Taggart.
I'm probably more of the Taggart personality, just the like stone-faced stoic, like this is the rules. But like I prefer watching Billy, if that makes sense. Like he was the more fun of the two characters, but if you were to meet me in real life, you'd probably be like, oh yeah, he's Taggart.
As basic as the characters were, they didn't have a ton of depth. We didn't have any background story. There was no arc. Well, there was an arc for the characters, actually. And they did
Taggart especially. Yeah.
Taggart especially, yes. But they had a type of chemistry. The 3 of them really worked well. And I just enjoyed watching all 3 of them, especially as they came around and had each other's backs by the end of it. Just made you feel good watching it. And then the police chief, even then, the cherry on top, him making up a lie to cover for everybody and solve the whole problem, just really, even though it was cheesy, it really worked for me and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's beautiful in its simplistic way, but like I think the writing is just really well done. Like, and the pacing of the movie is really well done. Like they're always on to the next action thing or the next like fun scene or interesting thing, and the writing is like, oh, this is happening, and then they call back to it, and I think it was really well played in those ways.
And even this far forward into the future, I was still laughing out loud watching this movie. It had a lot. It brought the funny. It was good. And it wasn't just Eddie Murphy's jokes. It was the whole thing. Like, it was just kind of cracked me up. Billy had me laughing a lot. I thought that was really good. Speaking of how this movie holds up over time, what do you guys think about some of the language in this? We had some soft R's. There was just some things I was like, oh, that's right. They did that in the early 90s. I forgot, What'd you guys think of that?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dan.
Okay, so one of the questions I usually ask at the beginning of the episode, and I realize I didn't ask for this one because the last couple we've done more recent movies. This one's actually been out as long as we've been alive, if not a little bit longer for some of us. This is only the second time that I've ever seen this one. I saw it for the first time maybe within the last 5 years. So this is a very recent viewing. I've never seen the sequels to this. So I don't have the nostalgia for this one. So as far as the comedy goes, there were parts that I chuckled at. There was nothing that I really laughed out loud at. And as far as the language goes, if there was a soft R, I totally missed it. So I can't speak to it. I guess it just went right over my head. Didn't stand out in a negative way, I guess.
Yeah, I'm much the same. I grew up watching action movies, of the 80s. So to me, this is just the norm. I do, again, I've noticed, obviously, the lack of female representation in these movies and how they're utilized or not utilized in most cases. So I do notice these things now, but a lot of times I just like, oh, this just brings me back. So I just fall into the enjoyment, nostalgia of the thing. Yeah. So that said, I didn't notice anything too horrific. And on top of that, I guess this movie, again, being older, I can do a lot of research on how things were done and what happened throughout the filming and things like that. And the director, well, little known fact or much known fact nowadays is this movie was originally cast by Sylvester Stallone as the lead. And Stallone bowed out because he didn't like the idea of action comedy. He didn't think it suited his kind of style. And so he took elements of this script and wrote his own script called Cobra and did that movie. And so then they hired Eddie Murphy.
Cobra was not funny at all.
Exactly. So they brought in Eddie Murphy as a stand-up comedian, and it's kind of rocketed him into stardom on the big screen, which is really cool. But there's all these tidbits. I don't even know where I was going with this. But I just find it interesting.
You mentioned Sylvester Stallone doesn't like the idea of action comedies, and my brain went straight to Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. And I'm like, you're not wrong. There's no comedy in that either. Yeah. So
Exactly.
I read someplace that Sylvester Stallone was upset over the orange juice that was in his trailer or something, and that was the tipping point of him walking away from this. That sounded like something that was total BS to me. What you have to say about it sounds a little more legit and realistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's just a matter of his taste of the script, and so they went a different direction, or they wanted to go that direction. He didn't, and so he moved on with it, which is fine. There was also other potentials. I think Mickey Rourke or something was the next in line, but they eventually settled on Eddie, which I think was a great choice. And I think it played off really well. He's a good fit for this role.
I think he's a solid enough fit that I didn't even realize that they could have cast somebody else for this. I would have thought that this was an Eddie Murphy movie.
Right.
But, obviously he didn't direct it. He got somebody else to direct it. But I would have thought that this is he pitched this almost. This feels so ubiquitous with him, with his career, that I'm a little bit shocked. I can't picture Sylvester Stallone in this role, whether 100%. It was a comedy or not a comedy. It just feels wrong.
Well, I think good on the direction for allowing him the freedom to be his stand-up comedian self and really make this movie his.
Yeah, I think them actually leaning into Eddie Murphy taking this by the reins was a real benefit for the movie. And again makes, like what Dan said, makes it hard to believe it wasn't his, right? Like he owned it, which is really great. And and I think that there was a lot of the improvisation going back. Brian, you said you thought the chemistry between the police was really good. When they were casting, again, Judge Reinhold was already cast when Sylvester was originally in it, but they didn't have a John Ashton's character, Taggart. So they actually set up improvised scenes for the actors to like see how they connected and had chemistry. And the scene that Ashton and Reinhold performed was actually the car scene when they're talking about like the 5 pounds of red meat in your digestive system. Okay. They actually put it in the movie because they actually enjoyed the scene so much that they improvised. So it's really cool. It's really cool. A lot of the interesting tidbits along the way for this movie.
Yeah, definitely. Were there anything in this movie that you guys didn't like? Because I had a couple of things. I really like the scoring. I like the sound effects. I love that when they punched people, it sounded like a real punch, not like somebody slapping a pork with a pig with a two-by-four or something.
Way over the top sound effect.
Yeah. So I really like the quality sound effects. That sounded good. Maybe the sounds of the guns weren't amazing, but they were good enough.
Good enough.
But the only things that I didn't like was at the end when they went to the big penthouse, the big mansion place, and they were like raiding the mansion. Every time somebody with a machine gun would shoot at them, these hired goons, they were all shooting Uzis from the hip and couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And then when they'd have the little explosions where the bullets were supposed to be hitting, they were like on the top of the railing exploding up, so it didn't look right at all.
And on top of that, every single person, like they couldn't hit the people to save their lives, but they all shot in a straight line. It was like they had a row of squibs and just laid that down a track, and they're just it's like, that's not how guns work, but okay, sure.
But honestly, I think that was the only thing that I didn't really like about the movie was those action sequences. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I don't disagree that there was some like minor issues like that. The director, Martin Brest, wasn't known for action movies. I think this was his first forte into an action movie. So like overall, I think he did a really good job putting this movie together for having no experience in the genre. So, little things like that, I don't mind as much. It kind of adds to like maybe the unintentional comedy when it comes to action comedy movies.
Nice. Sorry, I just wanted to check something. Is this movie rated R?
It is, yes.
Okay, I assumed it was.
Which is kind of weird because I'm pretty sure I've seen some PG-13 movies that there was a titty bar scene.
Yeah,
that's not usually enough to do it though. And even like maybe there's a lot more F-bomb. I don't hear F-bombs when like my parents aren't in the room. And then when my parents or kids in the room, it's all of a sudden like, oh, they're every other word. So like, I watch this by myself for the most part. So like maybe they're swearing every other word. I have no idea. But
and a lot of things are more lenient today than way back in the 80s as well. And I just don't think they really update the ratings once they're given, right? So I think movies just kind of sit in it. So
I like
as far as your actual question. Sorry, I'm just going to answer your question. I stepped out because I wanted to know if it was rated R or not. Parts of this that I didn't like. I started watching this movie thinking that I was watching a comedy, which I think it's billed as. And the first couple of comedic beats, like the whole cigarette truck, like just nothing there was really hitting for me. It wasn't quite working. And with a movie that's rated R rated, like Eddie Murphy at this point, I don't know the exact timeline of when Raw or Delirious came out, but those are both hilarious. I love him as a comedian. So when he's kind of given free range, I was kind of hoping for a bit more than what I got. So as a comedy, for the first maybe 20 minutes of this movie, I was kind of like, it's okay. But then when I was like, okay, stop watching this as a comedy, stop watching this as a cop movie or a police drama, that's when I started really getting into it. Now, whether that was a mind frame thing on my part or just like the switch to Beverly Hills versus Detroit on the movie's part, I'm not 100% sure. But I did notice, like, once I started thinking, like, okay, just take this as the drama that it is. Don't worry about looking for the comedy or the big laughs. And if you laugh, great. And I did laugh a couple times during this movie. But that's when I started really enjoying it. So I hate to say that the comedy is the part that I didn't like, but I think I walked into this expecting more comedy. Now, that being said, comedy is not only subjective, but for the most part, comedy has an expiration date. And this movie is almost as old as I am. Mm-hmm. So maybe some of the comedy or some of the references just aren't as prevalent as they once were. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I go into this thinking of it more of a drama action film than a comedy. And so it has just the right amount of comedy for me because it's still serious. he's still serious about finding his good friend's killer. Like, that's important to him, and that's not funny, and it shouldn't be. It should be very serious. And so they allow that space for it to be serious, but they still have these moments where just the charisma with the characters and cast works so well that people are giggling on set. And if they're giggling on set, I'm probably going to laugh at this film when I'm watching it, and I did. So I don't think this was an outrageously hilarious comedy. I think this was a very funny, serious cop movie. And that's where I came in. So I was already on par, already on beat with how this would play out. I liked it, and I thought it was just right. And I didn't think that the humor was too dated for me. It still, the banter and stuff was pretty funny for most of the time.
Will, did the comedy work for you?
Comedy, I didn't mind for the most part. I think it's pretty good. And I mean, I agree to your argument a little bit. I think some comedy does have an expiry date, but I think there's still universal comedy. There's still physical comedy that's always going to be funny. Taggart trying to get up onto that wall off the shoulders of, Billy is, if it's done right, it's still going to be funny forever because people love seeing people fall down.
That's very true. I mean, we could definitely have a discussion about comedies that have not aged at all. Like there's been some comedies that have been incredible since they came out. But don't get me wrong. There are moments in this movie where I chuckled, somewhere I even laughed. Judge Reinhold actually got me more than Eddie Murphy did. Some of his facial expressions I thought were just priceless. Like when he's sitting in the car, like seeing everything unfold, and he's just like really having that like existential moment of like, what do I do? Do I get out of the car? He like opens the door and like thinks better of himself. Just like, no, I'm good. Like I'm safe in the car. Like, I don't know. I thought he was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think Judge is a pretty underrated comedic actor. Like he does really good. I think like his expressions and like you can just tell like what's going through his mind on his face, which I think is really fun.
Yeah.
On a separate note, I thought that there were some subtle undertones of racial inequalities, poverty versus wealth, some of those things. They didn't beat you over the head with it. They were very subtle. Some of them were actually some quips that were meant to kind of make you chuckle at the irony of it. And I thought that was really nice. I thought that was good writing, that they remind you those things exist, but they don't make you feel bad for it. This is a movie you're here to enjoy. And so I thought that was really cool myself. I don't know if you guys felt that way, but it was a refreshing change of pace for me from some of the things in today's world where they kind of bludgeon you with the ideas and stuff. And this one had a lot of very subtle undertones.
I would agree with that. Like there was the one, like when he's in Detroit, there's quite a few officers that you see that are black. And then when he goes to Beverly Hills, there's really only the one other black man on the force, I believe, that we see. And he's incredibly well-spoken. And Eddie Murphy even kind of makes fun of him a little bit, or like he very much is like, I'm just busting balls kind of thing. But like the first time they start talking, he's like, why do you sound like that? You sound weird to me. But they don't, they don't harp on that at all. They just kind of like bring it up and move on. The two cops that first
arrested him were, these blue-eyed, blonde-haired white males that, and so it was there, but they weren't forcing it down your throat. That wasn't what this movie was about, but they were kind of acknowledging that these things exist in society. And I think that even as old as this film is, I think that is still valid today. Like it wasn't outdated.
100%. I mean, I can even think of like recently, like last 10 years, Brooklyn Nine-Nine did an episode where the Sarge was out, walking at night and gets arrested because he didn't have his badge on him and he didn't announce that he was a police officer. So he got arrested because he was a black man, at night in the neighborhood walking around without any identification. And that's crazy. And, you see it in this movie as well. Again, I don't think they planned it as that because he's getting thrown out of the building. It doesn't matter. He was getting arrested either way coming through that window because he was reported as being a disturbance, right? But, it is still being played in modern times. So it is interesting. And I do recall hearing that the director didn't want to push any of those agendas. And so how much of it is just us seeing it for what it is because we experience it kind of every day, or we're
I'm sorry, three
our
white guys.
eyes-
What do we experience every day?
well, no, our eyes have been open to
Society,
it.
yeah.
And so and that's an interesting question. Like, did they push it, or are we seeing things now because we know what goes on in society?
Because the first time I watched this film way back in the day, I was oblivious to that. So
Exactly.
maybe that says that we've come a long way because of films like this, denoting it in their text. So I don't know.
Well,
But
and even
I thought it was
like
good.
you were saying with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, even in this movie, like they're like, well, why didn't you tell us you were a cop? He's like, I didn't
Exactly.
do anything wrong. Why should I have to?
Yeah, why
Right.
should I have to? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas Brooklyn Nine-Nine made it specifically about his color, and in this they didn't, right? So that's the difference too.
Okay, that's fair. Maybe that's kind of what Brian was trying to get at just a second ago. Like they didn't specify that it was about his color, but at the same time,
We're all thinking it.
my brain was
Right,
100%
for sure.
that is clearly because of his color.
Exactly. Yeah, interesting. What do you guys think about Paul Reiser for the first 5 minutes of this movie?
Completely forgot he was in this movie.
Yeah, that was
That
great.
was a fun surprise.
Yeah, that's
when
cool.
is
I was hoping it was
Aliens
gonna be
2?
even more.
Because or Aliens, I guess that's like 85, right? Like that's right around this time.
Yeah, I think so.
He had a very Aliens look to him, right? Like he looked
I
like they
mean,
walked off that
he
set
looked like
onto
Bird.
this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, it was a fun surprise. I liked that. I'm okay with him not being in the entire movie. Like him just having that little bit role as like the friend was pretty fun. His little line of like, "Oh, this isn't my locker. What am I even doing here?" Like,
Yeah. I also want to shout out Gilbert Hill, the Inspector Todd, at the beginning, like his boss, chewing him out. I thought he was great, and I didn't know this until looking it up, but he was actually like a police chief at some point in real life before he became an actor, or after, I don't know which, but I thought he like played the role so good, and
he
totally
nailed it.
makes
That was
sense.
an excellent
Like,
scene.
yeah, he's police through and through. It was great.
What didn't seem so authentic was walking into the Beverly Hills Police Department and seeing all the flashing lights and buttons and switches and knobs and all this high-tech stuff everywhere. And I'm like, what? Is that ever really a thing? Has that ever been? I don't know.
Yeah, it's super funny because they also talk about using like satellite tracking to like track down people and things, like other officers. And nowadays we call that GPS, I think, right? Like they like predicted the future. I thought, okay, I'll say this. I think they did a much better job of futurizing the police force than Predator 2 did.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nobody behind a monitor being like, enhance.
With their weird futuristic pistols and stuff, like that don't actually do anything.
the GPS, or what will later be called GPS, like I think they were only tracking the cars, right? Like that makes sense. You could have a tracker in a vehicle, like a fleet vehicle. That
the low jack
works.
in the vehicles, they had those. So that made sense. Yeah.
I don't know if the switchboard looks quite like it did in the movie, but whatever, it's fine. It's Hollywood.
And again, I talked about this earlier. I thought I liked it just because it made that contrast between like how little Detroit had and how much Beverly Hills had, and like how it made the police force so different, right? And how they did their jobs. So I enjoyed those elements, even if they were a little far-fetched.
For sure.
You may need to edit this out, Dan, but that's all I got for this film. That's kind of it. I think everything I got.
I was gonna say, like I told you before we even started, like I don't have a ton to say about this. Like it was fine. It was fun enough. Like I didn't dislike it. I didn't love it. It just kind of happened, right? Like
I mean, to me, I just appreciated like the quick pace. You kind of got to each element efficiently. I thought this was an efficient movie with lots of like fun, like light moments, contrast to like serious action moments, and they weaved it really well. And so I think this movie just kind of in terms of like standing the test of time holds up pretty well that way, because we just did Jurassic World Rebirth and it was just so flat and boring and felt longer than it was because it didn't have that succinct writing and quick edits. And I just thought it was refreshing to watch this. I don't know. More movies nowadays should be this formula.
I think so. I think they did a lot with a little on this. I thought like the car chase scene in the beginning with the truck, they destroyed a lot of vehicles, and I guarantee you that semi truck had a reinforced bumper. It would not push through cars quite like that, but it was fun to watch. It got you excited right from the jump. You got to see Eddie Murphy's personality like really pop off right before that all happened. So it was a great kind of intro, like, hey, here's this loudmouth, fast-talking guy, and we've got an action sequence. And it was kind of that pacing throughout the film. It was Eddie Murphy doing some fast talking, and then it was an action sequence. And then you combine that with a whole bunch of chemistry with the different characters in the film. As maybe shallow or undeveloped as some of them were, it still worked. It was what you needed. I think this movie was about an hour and 45 minutes long, and I thought it was just right.
I agree.
Yeah, me too.
I don't have much else to say either. I mean, it's quick, easy watch. If you like action comedies, it kind of tickles your fancy in those ways for the most part.
It's kind of the curse of, for lack of a better term, it's kind of the curse of mediocrity. Like if you have a movie that is phenomenal, it's easy to talk about for a long time. If you have a movie that is trash, it's easy to talk about for a long time. But you have a movie that's like good, it's fine. It's like, what else do you really get to say about it? Unfortunately, like, is Beverly Hills Cop good? I think it is. I think it's good. I'm not hating on it. Is it great? I wouldn't think so.
Okay, let me ask you this, Dan.
Sure.
Just because you kind of seem the most lukewarm of us, which is fine. Do you feel the character of Axel Foley, Eddie Murphy's performance, the characters, the way the film unfolded, do you think it warrants a franchise of 3 additional films?
So that's one of the things that I kind of wanted to ask you about, and I kind of don't want to know the answer, is I don't know where this franchise is going. Like, it's called Beverly Hills Cop. I have to assume he's going to go back to Beverly Hills, but is it going to be one of those stupid, like, Home Alone things where he goes back to Detroit and is back to being a Detroit cop and then something draws him back? Or is it like he really likes Taggart and Billy and he's going to like, you know what, I'm going to put it in for a transfer, and he just moves to Beverly Hills? And I don't actually want an answer. So, like, leave that to yourself. I'll find out in a couple of days when I watch the second one. But I left this, I guess if there hadn't been sequels, I probably would be okay with this being a one and done. But because I know there are sequels, I am curious to know where the story goes from here, how we get as many sequels as we do. Because there's like the 3 within like a 5 or 7 year radius, and then 20 something years before the 4th one. So yeah, I would say that I'm curious about Eddie Murphy and his character and Axel Foley and where do they go from here? That being said, I think this is one of those franchises of diminishing returns where by the time you get to the 3rd one, it's pretty so maybe it is just that Home Alone of like,
as most franchises are.
yeah, fair enough. Maybe it's just Eddie Murphy like, oh, gotta go back to Beverly and let's make sure we like hit the same beats and see the same people. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where this lands. But right here, right now, I'm cautiously optimistic to watch the rest of the franchise.
I haven't seen the 2nd or the 3rd one, so I don't know. But seeing this, I would like if I saw this in theaters, I think I would walk out and go, you know what? I hope they make a sequel because I want to see more of that trio of Taggart and Billy and Axel Foley. I really enjoyed that chemistry. I really enjoyed what they had. I think that they could do other things, and they could probably come in with a bigger budget and do more exciting things than just figure out this. Well, I mean, in cinema, this was a relatively small murder mystery that he was going to solve that turned out to be a drug trafficking situation. But it wasn't like end all be all, right? Like they weren't trying to take down the president of America or anything like they do in cinema today. It was not simple.
Today's,
and that was okay. So I would hope that they would kind of turn the volume up a little bit on number 2, do it again with the same cast and give us a little bit bigger budget to work with. And I would be very interested to see what happens next. So I'm looking forward to number 2. Does it warrant a trilogy? We'll see.
Right, exactly.
It's 4. Like, it's not just a trilogy.
Oh, is it 4?
I really want to know. Yeah, because there's the brand new one, the Axel F, that just came to Netflix like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the 3rd one. Okay, never mind.
No, yeah.
No,
Well,
there's a
lot of people
in the 90s, I want to say.
A lot of people maybe want to forget that third one, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
Have you seen the whole franchise, Will?
I have. I've only
Okay.
seen the first one multiple times. The second one a couple of times. The third one I think I only overwatched once. I actually don't remember it much at all. But I'm sure it'll come flooding back to me for
chat's pretty unanimous that the third one's forgetable / bad.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I'm pretty sure Eddie Murphy himself kind of despised the movie, so it is what it is.
Really? Okay, it's question from the ignorant guy here. Did this movie set the tone for buddy cop comedy films? Was this the first of its kind, or was it just coming out with the rush of them? I don't know the timeline of these.
I think it was early in the game and kind of was off to the races. Like it was huge when it came out. Like it was a box office smash.
So it was a competitor that maybe, if not set the tone, gave it a better pacing or something, at least.
Yeah. I think it kind of propelled action cop or buddy cop movies kind of into the foyer of like, let's make these movies. People love them. Lethal Weapon came out a couple of years later, and obviously Countless from then on, right?
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Lethal Weapon, I would think, is probably the biggest in that genre at that time, at least. And yeah, it's a couple of years after the fact. I can't think of any other like specifically buddy cop movies
in the
prior
80s?
To this.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the thing.
This
I think
is pretty early 80s, so like in the 70s.
Yes. Yeah, and I think there was one or two here and there, but not a lot of like mainstream huge hits, right? And I think this one kind of propelled that.
Well, I think then that this movie has some importance in its arrival on the scene when it came out and what it did for cinema. So, I would give it props because I remember it as being a leader in its field, one of the earlier incantations of the buddy cop comedy, and I remember it being kind of setting the tone for it. And so, if you guys say that I'm remembering it accurately, then fantastic. I'm glad.
Well, Gigabytes Chihu, if that is how you pronounce that, is screaming at us from chat. 48 Hours was a buddy cop movie that came out before this one, also with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte.
And but I don't think it was supposed to be a comedy though. Yeah, I don't think it was action comedy in the same way we think of buddy cops now. Most buddy cops are like, it's called a buddy cop.
Yeah, because Nolte and Murphy
hates him, doesn't he?
Didn't get along. Their characters didn't get along, right? Like Nolte's character hated Murphy's character in that film, maybe until the end or whatever. He was not wanting to work with Murphy, if I remember that film right. But
I know that I've seen it. I don't remember it very well. I want to say I was watching it at work and feeling very uncomfortable because I feel like Nick Nolte throws around a lot of racial slurs in that movie. And I'm just like, turn the volume down, turn the volume down, turn the volume down. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to,
Bad Boys was like a decade later.
Oh yeah, Bad Boys was like the new hot thing that for buddy cop again, right?
Like the 90s were chock full of them, but the 80s I think they were a little bit drier.
Well, should we get into rating this bad boy?
I think so.
All right. I want to do this. I want to try and make this a little bit shorter and less painful before we get into that.
Your call outs?
Yeah.
Your thanks? Your praises? Dan's chucking numbers here. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Give me just 1 second here.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That looks clean. I like that.
I also want to mention here that Bronson Pinchot's the Perfect Strangers guy in the movie here. He plays Surge. Was like a standout as well. His character was like
I could have gone for him having a few more lines. I'm not going to lie.
Who was the guy that gave him the bananas? Was that one of the Wayans brothers?
It was one of the Wayans brothers.
Yeah, that was Damon Wayans.
That was great too. Surge and the banana guy. Those were.
So Surge was super funny because there were supposed to be two characters in that, and you see the one character come in with his open shirt, and he's like, Surge is like, button that up, button that up. It was supposed to be a scene with two characters, but the director loved this guy's Surge impression, and he just like, I wanted more of that, so he just put him in and cut everything else, which is like super funny. And he was super funny, and obviously this was prior to Perfect Strangers, and you kind of see that character in Perfect Strangers as well, which is pretty fun.
Yeah. All right, give me 2 seconds. If you like what we do and you want to support us, you can head over to Patreon. We have a link in the description below. Huge shout out to our executive producers, Real Bubba Hotep, Dino, and Elder JM990 for helping support this show. Thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated.
Woo! Thank you.
Was that pre-recorded, Dan, or did you just do
I know.
I just did that off the fly. It was just like last week specifically, like we were on it for like too long. It felt cheap. People in the audience were like, give us money. It's like, that's not what I'm trying to do here. It is kind of, I guess, but like, that's not the feel that I want for it. I just want to like, thank you guys for supporting us. We appreciate it. Move on.
Right.
So I just wanted to get that. Like, now being said, if that works out well and we don't get more executive producers, maybe I'll just take that clip and use it next week. We'll see. But I just didn't want it to be.
Yeah, it's nice to not linger for sure.
Yeah. He says lingering on it after the fact.
Oh yeah, that's fine. This can all be cut in the video.
Yeah. All right. Brian, do you want to start us off with your?
Okay. I very much enjoyed this film. I just had a good time. It could have been more exciting. I think that's why I want to see a sequel with a bigger budget, because it did feel like a little bit underwhelming what they were trying to do. And when it finally did get exciting at the end with the gunfights at the big, at the penthouse or whatever, that wasn't the best for me as far as gunfights in a movie go. But the comedy, the dialogue, especially the charisma, the chemistry between all the characters, really enjoyed this film a lot. And I think that it had great direction in allowing Eddie Murphy to do his thing. And because this was the first of the director's genre to really jump in and do what he did, I thought he did a great job. And so for me, I think that this movie is definitely a movie that people should see. I'm giving this movie an 80. I honestly, I had fun, and I think they did almost everything right. It's very hard for me to critique this one. I think it's solid.
Is it as solid as Dan just typing away while you try to give
a
sincere rating?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
But then again, I have music playing in my ears, so I don't know.
It's all good.
Sorry, 80, 81. Somebody in chat saying 81.
80
was my score.
That's what I thought I heard.
It was actually a 79.5. I'm rounding it up to 80.
You work in decimals in this?
I think that when you try to give someone a percentage of what you're feeling, I think going as far out on the decimals as you can shows that you're really thinking it deeply. And I always so like when somebody's like how sure are you? I'm like 72.3%. Like I really try to narrow it down.
Wow. Run 7, everybody, came from the least prepared to the most prepared. That's what we do here on R Rating. We make heroes like Run 7.
Still don't know the names of hardly anybody that was in this film, or the director, producers, none of that stuff. Leave that all up to you guys. Hey, how come we didn't have a Canadian corner today? Was there no Canadians involved?
Very American movie.
When Will was talking about the police captain, the way he was talking about it, I was like, I had my finger on the trigger ready to go.
Queuing it up.
No. Americans. They're all Americans. It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. Probably why I didn't think it was funny. Oh, no, sorry. I'm kidding. Calm down. I kind of said what I felt about this movie earlier, in the fact that I came into this wanting a comedy, felt a little bit left down until I realized, no, I'm watching a police drama, watching a procedural sort of thing. Once I kind of switched that motion in my brain, I started liking this movie a lot more. Now, again, I did find it funny. I did enjoy this movie. I liked the performances. I don't think there was a weak performance in the bunch. Nobody blew me away, but they were all very solid. There was nobody that took me out of the film. As far as the cinematography goes, it was acceptable. There was nothing great about it. The bullets at the end was kind of rough, but other than that, it was totally fine. The music in this I really did like, despite the fact that I'm not a big 80s musical person. Like I don't really resonate with that sound per se, but the theme song for this movie I think is fantastic, and an all-timer. The plot of this one I think is pretty simple, but it's actually kind of perfect for the movie that they're making, so I have no real issues there. The entertainment on this one is a little bit lower for me personally, not because there's anything wrong with it. It just isn't one that I'm likely to revisit over and over again. I do really like this movie. I can absolutely see why there were sequels to it, and I am curious to see where the next movies go, but I'm a little bit cooler on it than Brian is. I'm giving this movie a 70, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It just didn't quite resonate for me on the level that I was hoping that it would.
Fair enough.
How come none of you have accents?
Bridget, they both have roundabouts. They both give a little bit of a boot when they say it, but that's about it.
Is Will muted? Did we mute Will? Why did we mute Will?
I think I muted myself because I didn't want to
okay.
interrupt you because I was coughing and shit. My
Gotcha.
apologies. I think the Canadian accent has kind of been over exaggerated. And with, of course, social media and being able to have access to every American thing, we've kind of integrated in a little bit too.
Now, out of curiosity, because you're from Saskatchewan?
Alberta.
Alberta, my apologies.
Yeah, how dare you, by the way?
Yeah, I'm the worst. You live on the East Coast now. When I think of the Canadian accent, I think of the East Coast accent.
Yes.
So do you run into it more?
Yes.
Like, do you notice it more out there?
But again, younger generations, much less of any dialect at all. Older generations, like some lady in the grocery store, like looked at my son and then looked at me and was like, "Oh, I saw the connection there right away," or whatever. Like, I just did like Irish, but with very like East Coast dialect, and I was just like, "Oh, thank you." But like, yeah, in the older generations, for sure, it's still there a lot.
Yeah,
but younger, not so much.
Bridget, I don't have a Texan accent because I've only been here for about 3 years so far, but it is growing on me. And when I spend all day at work talking with Texan customers, I come home with a bit more drawl than I used to. And in Southern Oregon, I'm kind of a hayseed from Southern Oregon, so I already have a bit of a little, drawl from there anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say
pretty minute though.
Will's an East Coaster who does not have an East Coast accent because he's not from there. Brian's a Texan who does not have a Texas accent because he's not from there.
Yeah.
Ontario, I mean, it sounds stupid because everybody doesn't think that they have an accent, but like, I don't know that Ontario has an accent or not one that they're known for. I'm sure people will be like, "Oh, you sound kind of funny because you're not from here," but like,
yeah, the closest
not the Canadian accent. That's for sure.
It's kind of like the Letterkenny accent, like small town Ontario, like, and it's more like slang sayings than anything. Like, let's go have a Donnybrook, eh? And we'll really get her done. But
I was gonna say get her done. It's like, I don't think get her done's Canadian, but like they definitely use it on Letterkenny.
Oh yeah, they definitely use it. So again, it varies greatly, and yeah, I think it's just over time people just are like, oh, you know what? It's not as bad as we think it is.
Mongoli sounds funny because he tries. I try real hard. None of it works, but I'm trying real hard.
All right, let's finish up these ratings. All right, Beverly Hills Cop. I enjoyed this movie. I've always enjoyed this movie. Eddie Murphy, again, he is a force. He's a comedic talent, and there's a reason why his career has been so large, copious amounts of hilarity ensuing. This movie specifically, though, sets the tone, sets the bar for action comedies moving forward. I love the great pacing of this movie, the simple but concise kind of concrete plot. It's not too complicated. It's not too simple, but it hits every note it needs to get it done. I think everything we've said about this movie has been said. The music, again, you can't help but tap your toe when they're doing action scenes or even walking down the street. It's just catchy. And this movie is just a catchy little number. So I gave it an 80 out of 100 as well. I think it does stand up the test of time, and I'll probably watch this again in another 20 years and still enjoy it.
When did this film air?
84.
84. Okay, so it came out in 84, and in one sequence, he's looking over his shoulder at two guys walking dressed kind of like a Michael Jackson outfit.
Exactly.
And he's laughing at it. And then in 87, he did Raw. And wasn't he wearing that same outfit?
Yeah, he did two different specials, one in the red and one in the blue, I think, he did. Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of self-referencing a little bit, which is hilarious.
Right. That's funny.
I picked up on that, but I thought that special had already come out. I thought he was making fun of himself in that sequence. It's interesting that it didn't.
Yeah, I think one came out in
87.
I think one come in before though?
One came in before. Delirious was 83,
Delirious?
and then
Raw I don't know
was
if he was in that. I can't remember if he was in the leather in that or not, though. I can't remember.
Yeah, we had 80, 70, and 80 guys were the scores.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think maybe that's a little bit of it might be a little bit of my nostalgia creeping in there, but I think overall this movie's always had pretty decent ratings, so.
I gave it the lowest score. I don't have an issue with this movie. Like I have no problem with the game
70 is
score
a
that it's
very
getting.
good score. 70 is a very good score.
70 is a decent score, especially from Dan. No, I'm just
Wow, you're not wrong. Shut up.
kidding.
All right. So with that, we are pushing something off of the top of the list or the bottom of the list, I guess.
What are we at? Like 77 or something for this?
This one's going to come in high.
Spoil my momentum, but yes.
I mean, it's 3 pretty easy numbers to calculate. That's all I'm saying.
Was that like a 77, something like that? Probably going to come in at. So I'm just guessing. So that's going to come in real high on the list.
Yeah, it's going to be decent. One. I think it's going to drop for the most part from the other 4. Might stay pretty similar for the second movie. I think the second movie was pretty well received as well. Although, like, I haven't seen Axel, but, like, I love a lot of the cast in Axel as well. Like, the new cast coming in, there's some good names in there. So I'm kind of intrigued by it.
I'm still shook that there's Beverly Hills Cop 3 and then Axel. I was
right.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. So resizing the title is a little bit large now that I'm seeing it next to everything else.
For me, I'm actually just kind of excited for you too, because you haven't seen either of the other ones. So,
all right,
see where it goes.
Well, kind of stole my thunder here, but
sorry, just cut that.
Oh, I will. Axel, get off that. All right,
Dan, I'm so excited. Please reveal.
Beverly Hills Cop, one movie in, and has taken the second place spot so far on our list of franchises, knocking down what is it? It's Neverending Story onto the second page along with Highlander. Now, theoretically, it could also be Home Alone. Maybe I'll switch that at some point. But nonetheless, how does this feel? Beverly Hills Cop in second place. It's only one movie. But do you think that deserves the spot? Do you think it's going to drop pretty significantly over the course? Brian and I think we've only seen the first movie.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's seen 3 of the 4, I think it will drop a little ways after at least one of those movies. But the 4th one's up in the air for me. I haven't seen that one either. So it could go up, it could go down. I'm guessing it's going to go down a little bit overall when we get all 4 movies on the board.
We see this every time we have the first movie in a franchise come out. They don't make a franchise off a bad film. The first one's always going to land high. Even Highlander, the first Highlander landed kind of high.
For what it was.
It landed pretty high. So this doesn't surprise me at all. It's definitely going to change. How far it's going to change over the course, you guys will have to tune in and see, because we'll be back next week going over Beverly Hills Cop 2 and following up the rest of this franchise as we go along. So tune in.
Yeah.
It's not a bad little outro. I actually like that. All right, that was our rating of shit. I always do that where I like half-rate the name
rating of shit.
Yeah. That was our rating of Beverly Hills Cop, but what's yours? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. We record this over at twitch.tv/The Monguli Show on Thursday nights at 9 p.m., so you can head over there and follow that if you want to watch this live. Or if you just enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe so I see you in the next one,
where we cover urine and other bodily fluids.
What?
Because that was our rating of shit.
Yes. Okay. Sorry.
It's a simple callback.
Sometimes the dots don't connect.
It's all good. It's all good. You were focused on something. We weren't. That's all.
That was. I mean, let's see. We were only on for an hour 13. And we bullshitted a bunch of that, so that's going to get cut down nicely. That's not bad.
Yeah, I think that's going to be good. I'm glad that we were kind of concise with this one. Like we said beforehand, we maybe want to try and bring these down a little bit to smaller videos, get to the point a little bit, ramble less. I think this one was easy for us to do that. And with both of us streaming today, we're getting better numbers than usual. So that's cool. I think this was a good day for our rating. It was a good movie. I had fun. And as always, I had fun hanging out with you guys and talking about it.
Absolutely. It's interesting because, as I mentioned, like it's a little harder to do. It's easy to do great movies. It's easy to do bad movies. But at the same time, even though it's sometimes easy to do a bad movie, I kind of hate when the show is just three of us ragging on a movie for an hour, especially if it's a bad franchise and we're just ragging on it for a month. And it's just like
that's where it really wears on you.
Yeah, I would love to have something positive to say once in a while, but so like in that sense, I really enjoyed this because it was something we could all talk positively about, not without its flaws, but just kind of like, hey, I like this, I like that. This is good.
I forgot to mention it, but I think my least enjoyed moment of this movie was actually Foley's buddy at the beginning. I was just like, this guy's a bad guy. I don't really care for him. I don't see what Eddie sees in him, even though they grew up together and they were both, into bad stuff. Like, he just seems like a real bad guy. So I just like the whole reason him wanting to get justice for this murder, I was just like, I don't really care. This guy kind of deserved it.
Yeah, he didn't really fit very well. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying for sure. I definitely feel like I've got friends in my life where they were good friends at the time, but not necessarily somebody I would even necessarily be friends with currently.
Right.
And that's kind of what this kid felt like. Like they had more in common growing up in the rough streets of Detroit than they do now. Exactly. Like Eddie Murphy's turned himself around and made something of himself, making detective in a very rough precinct. And this guy just never really did. So maybe there's a bit of like nostalgia. Maybe there's a bit of like the love from a previous life. And maybe there's even a little bit of, I don't want to say looking down on him, but like
feeling sorry for him maybe. Yeah, pity. Yeah.
But yeah, we don't get enough of his character to be like, why do you like this guy so much? Like, how is this guy the catalyst of the entire movie?
Exactly. And it's not like it took me out or anything. I was just like, I noticed it, but it's minor at the end of the day. And I also didn't mention Jonathan Banks, who played Zach, the hitman. He's like so good in this and in everything he does playing.
When he gets thrown over the table and he's got all that stuff on his face and he stands up and he's so angry and
wild-eyed. Yeah.
And then when they put the cuffs on Foley and Foley's making that eye contact at the boss, I forget the bad guy's name because he was kind of the most forgettable character for me. He was like making eye contact and he's like, I'll catch you later. Like that was a really actually solid scene right there. I was kind of impressed with that one.
Yeah, there's a reason like you see Jonathan Banks in this and you're like, oh yeah, I kind of want to watch Breaking Bad all over again just to see him because he's so good in that as well.
Yeah.
And Lieutenant Bogomil, chat says, yeah, he's good too. Ronnie Cox, he was fun.
I am going to switch Home Alone and Neverending Story. I know that has nothing to do with anything.
I mean, by the next franchise, they'll both be off the list. Let's be honest.
You're not wrong, but for the next couple of weeks at least.
Sure. Yeah. But I mean, I don't think Brendan will argue with that anyway.
I won't argue with that at all. I was actually a little surprised that the Neverending Story fell off. But then again, when I think of the Neverending Story, it ended at 1.
Exactly. So, Neverending Story and Home Alone, like if they both ended when they should have after 1 and after 2, I think they'd both be significantly, well, Neverending Story wouldn't be on this list, but Home Alone would be significantly higher on this list. Like Neverending Home Alone, when we did 1 and 2, the real ones, it was the top of the list.
Yeah, it was top for marks.
Because Brian, cried foul that we had to, Brian and most of the audience cried foul that we had to submit ourselves to those other 3 and lower it to where it belongs. But oh well.
That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. It's all good. It's all for funsies.
It's hard to have almost any franchise last for that long and not just
take some
divulge into nonsense.
Exactly.
I have no desire to do this anytime soon, but I am curious what an entire James Bond franchise would come out at. Because that franchise is so
like this,
long
right?
that it goes up and down.
Well, we've talked about it a little bit.
Or something.
Mission Impossible is way shorter. But we talked about this a little bit in the past. If we were ever to do James Bond, it would have to be broken up by actor.
Right. Yeah.
And we could do it as like a fun, like, I wonder what they would look like if we did them all together. And I'm sure it would just be very 70, like very middle of the pack with highs and lows. But like once you get 29 movies or whatever it is, it won't spike. It'll just be pretty flat. That being said, I've not seen
to see the
most
actors
of them,
versus the actors to see where they come out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are either of you big James Bond fans?
I grew up watching James Bond. My dad's big into action movies, and he loved James Bond when he was younger. So I watched a bunch of them. I'm not running to the theater anytime a James Bond comes out by any means, but
sure.
I wouldn't say no if like somebody was like, "Hey, let's throw on this." I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll watch that."
Okay. I think I've seen all the Sean Connerys and all of the Pierce Brosnans and most of the Daniel Craigs. I didn't watch the No Time to Die. That's the only one I've missed of his. And I very possibly none of the others. Like, I don't think I've ever seen the James Moore. No, that's not right. Something Moore. Alan Moore? No. Richard Moore? Whatever. The other.
He'll get there. Roger
Moore. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate you.
Okay.
So I can't really say where they would land. Like, do either of you have a guess if you were to, like, who would be the top and who'd be the bottom? Oh, isn't there one that only has one movie?
Connery's top, right? Like, everybody says that Connery's top.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would lean Connery. You know,
I actually found parts of the Roger Moore ones very enjoyable. It's the newest ones that I don't like, and it's not the lead actor's fault. What's the lead actor in the newest ones?
Daniel Craig.
It's not Daniel Craig's fault. I just am tired of James Bond, I think. That's all it is.
Well, I mean, part of the Daniel Craig kind of James Bonds was to refresh it in a different way. That's why they made him like a bruiser agent more than like the sophisticated agent, right?
Like when they first did his first one, and the guy comes up and he asks him shaken or stirred, and he's like, "Frankly, I don't give a damn." I was like, "Whoa, they're breaking the mold on this," and I was into it for like another 15 minutes, and I was like, "It's still a James Bond."
Yeah, exactly.
I really liked Casino Royale when it first came out, and then I watched it again a couple of years ago, and I was like, it's okay. And Skyfall, I remember being pretty decent, but like Quantum of Solace might have been one of the worst movies I'd seen in years at that point. I just did not care for that one at all. And then I can't even remember. Is there another one between Skyfall and No Time to Die? I feel like there is, but I can't for the life of me.
I don't know
what it is.
I think I only saw one or two of Daniel Craig's. I didn't mind them, but they were like, again, they were like, they're just action movies at this point.
That's pretty much it. The Daniel Craig ones at least feel like they try to connect to each other a little bit more than like the Sean Connery or Pierce Brosnan ones, which felt like they were just like a series of one-offs. But maybe I'm wrong about that. It's been a while since I've seen any of those ones. For a future idea, movies based from Stephen King books. There's not a lot of Stephen King books that have sequels. Like it kind of, because it part one, part two, but it's a two-part one story.
Although we could do, well, if you wanted, we could do the TV movie and the new movie because it's all the same.
I wouldn't mind doing Tim Curry and the new Pennywise.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all three movies. I don't know about the newest one that came out where like it's the kids' story or whatever. I don't remember what it is.
Was there like a prequel or something?
There's like a prequel that's coming out or something.
Maybe it's not out yet.
I'm not sure. There's something going on with the It franchise, but I wouldn't mind doing it and covering all of them.
There's like a TV series. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. I just saw something that was, it was either a prequel or a sequel, but it involved the kids afterwards or before. I'm not really sure.
Oh, good call. Shining and Dr. Sleep. I'd forgotten about those two.
Oh, yeah. There is the Shining and Dr. Sleep that came out a couple years ago, right?
Hey, if we need a two-tap, that's probably a good one to go to because I haven't seen Dr. Sleep. I haven't seen it.
Neither have I.
I've seen it once. It is no The Shining, but I enjoyed it.
That's fair.
Dude, if we do Twilight, you're going to see me just rant and just go on a tirade of hatred because I watched one of those movies and like 5 minutes of the next movie and I was like, F this.
That's better than me, man. I've told this story before. I watched the second movie and then I watched the second movie again thinking it was the third movie and didn't realize it until halfway through.
My wife convinced me and her roommate at the time to watch the first movie, and the two of us, not my wife, but her friend and myself, were laughing so hard through the entire movie that she refused to see the other movies with me. I was like, that feels like a win. That feels like a win to me. I'm okay.
Yeah. And to be fair, that's how I did it too. I laughed through it. So like I actually enjoyed watching it because I was with a buddy and we just laughed our asses off. I was like, this is so bad and it's so funny. But actually trying to like critique it seriously, I'd be like,
no, Schaefer, we haven't done Mission Impossible movies yet.
There's so much on the list. Let's be honest.
There's a lot.
It's endless list.
It's now that being said, I wouldn't hate hashing out what we're going to do for the next couple of months. get like a good idea of what we're going to be doing for each week, and have like a schedule up on the Discord channel, !Discord, so that people could kind of see and look ahead and be like, oh, I actually care about that franchise. I make sure I'll rewatch that ahead of time. Or, oh, I've never seen that franchise. I'll watch that before we get there. And then we can kind of plan things
hard
out.
To schedule with, because every once in a while there's a new movie that comes out that we need to add to our franchise that we've already covered, or we want to cover that franchise because this new movie is coming out. Case in point, it would be 28 days, 28 weeks, 28 years. And so it's hard to schedule that in when something pops up on our radar and we're like, oh, we got to bump this or switch that around.
But also, you could look a couple months ahead and see, like, oh, these movies are coming out. Like, I think
we could always have the next the franchise we're on plus the next two would be easy enough for us to.
Well, that is a couple of months theoretically.
That's true.
Depending on the length,
right?
yeah,
that's true.
Like for instance, I'm not saying we're doing this. The new Mortal Kombat comes out in October. It'd be easy enough to be like, okay, cool. Like we can plan ahead for that. Watch Mortal Kombat 1 early October. Watch the second one in theaters.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we're going to, but it's like we know that.
I wouldn't mind doing that. Actually, I'm a big fan of the Mortal Kombat video games. Or I used to be back. I think around 7 or 8, I probably trailed off. But I have, fond memories of playing Mortal Kombat the original at a 7-Eleven, wasting all my quarters, watching the older kids do the fatalities because I didn't know how to do it. So I wouldn't mind going and checking out some of those Mortal Kombat movies.
Yeah, the problem is if we watch the new Mortal Kombat, we'll have to step into the old ones at some point as well.
Well, so that's where this gets tricky because, like, with Evil Dead, we kind of merged all of them into one franchise title, but like it's kind of easier. I don't know. It's hard to say because like Mortal Kombat, the one that just came out, is so clearly not attached to the one that came out in the 90s.
100%.
That those are two separate franchises, despite the fact that they are both the same franchise.
Yeah.
Same way that I would say like Spider-Man versus Amazing Spider-Man versus the Homecoming Spider-Man. That's 3 separate franchises. That is not all under the Spider-Man umbrella. And so it gets kind of tricky with like which movies do you include them all together and which movies do you not. I don't know. But
that's why we divided Jurassic Parks and Jurassic Worlds.
Exactly.
I think it depends on like length of franchises and distance between, if there are in the same world or not. There's a lot of factors we can go on in that, and we always kind of go through the same discussion.
This is what Clean's trying to say. We'll do whatever the fuck we want.
Exactly. And I want to do the OG Mortal Kombat.
Can I get you to do that again?
Chat, we'll do whatever the fuck we want.
You're the best. That's a redemption for sure.
Noise.
Yeah. So the one thing I do kind of want to do, and I've been thinking about this for a bit, but I'd love to just hash it out with you guys. People have been asking for Clerks for a long time because they know that I'm a big Kevin Smith fan.
Yeah.
This October, as for the last 2 years, I would like to do an anniversary. Would you guys be willing to do an off Thursday night anniversary special rating episode with a very tired Dan of Clerks 1? Not the whole franchise. We'll just do the first movie. But do you think that's something I could rope you guys into? With 3 months heads up?
Yeah, depending on when it is. We'd have to make sure it works with our schedules, but
for sure. I believe the 4th is a Friday. It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday. So
okay. Yeah.
I don't think I've watched any of the Clerks, so
I don't believe
the
you have
franchise.
And I'm terrified for you to watch them, I'm not gonna lie. Part of why I've been pushing it off, and part of because I was like, well, if the audience wants it, and we're coming up on a year, maybe we can save this for like the 1 year anniversary or my anniversary or some sort of a special thing if that's something people are hoping for. But
one of the reasons I like coming here and talking about movies with you guys is because I find out that the movies that I think suck sometimes don't suck as bad as they do. 28 years later, came out of that theater. What the hell? Didn't understand it, didn't really like it, came here and talked about it with you guys, and it really made the movie so much better, learning and understanding and seeing it from a different perspective. So a movie like Clerks, a movie that obviously I didn't go see it because it didn't interest me. Watching it, coming in here and being like, yeah, I see why I didn't watch that movie. That sucked. And then we'll talk about it and I'll be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know if Clerks is that deep, but
it's not. I mean, I don't want to say anything. Like, I don't want to put thoughts in your head before you watch the movie. Like you watch the movie blank. The only thing I will say is I like the story behind Clerks more than I like Clerks. But we'll get into that Yeah. The Clerks one, without even doing research, I could talk for an hour on just on like the making of and all that stuff. Like I could go full Will on that movie. No problem.
Perfect. I don't have to do anything. I can just sit
There
here and
you
shut
go.
up for a change. That would be nice.
I
A
went and
much
saw-
needed reprieve for chat. Me not.
I went and saw
blowhard.
the Materialists with my wife. It's a chick flick. It's very much written for women. It's about a girl who pretty much has everything a girl really needs, maybe not want. But
what a girl wants. What a girl
and
needs.
she's being chased by two very attractive men, one who's
hard.
super
That's
rich
tough.
and one who's super poor. And
That's
she
tough.
has to decide between them, and she's very materialistic, so she's wants whatever.
Sorry, I missed the movie you're talking about.
Materialistic.
Oh, okay.
It's a great movie for going and seeing with your wife, guys. If you want to take your wife out to a movie and earn yourself some brownie points, was not very exciting for me. It's not something I would ever watch otherwise, but it did have solid acting, and it wasn't as long and painful as I thought it was going to be. So that was cool. Have you guys seen anything good that you want to shout out to chat that they need to go check out?
No, but I do have a question. Do they
Okay.
play Uptown Girl by Billy Joel in the movie?
They might actually. They might actually. I think they did.
That's funny to me. That's funny to me. Okay, good enough.
Yeah.
I feel like I did see something recently, and I can't think what it was. I watched If yesterday, which I didn't care for all that much.
If?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so-so.
What's If?
It's
Imaginary Friends. It's
Oh,
Ryan
yeah.
Reynolds.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it was
Directed
it was
by Jim
fine.
from The Office.
Was that
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds in that?
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds
Yeah, okay.
and Jim Krasinski.
Yeah.
Which theoretically,
John.
John Krasinski, my apologies. Theoretically, I would love to see those two in a movie, but they don't interact whatsoever, and it was all kind of fine. It's a kids movie. The kids
Even though
liked
my
it.
rating on materialistic, I would say, as a man, that movie sucked and would be like a 20. But as a chick flick for its genre, I think it was really well done and paced out nicely. Had good acting. You weren't really sure where it was going to go. About by the third of the way, or 2/3 into the way of the movie, I knew which way it was going to go, but not right off the bat. It wasn't too cliche, and I would probably give that as a chick flick type movie. I would probably give that like a 72, something like that. It was pretty decent, but it's definitely not a movie that I want to watch. Never again.
Sounds like a movie I will never watch. So
Well,
unless they make a sequel, in which case we'll all be watching it here on R Rating.
and for chick flicks to put in perspective, I think that The Notebook was like a 90, maybe even a 93 as far as a chick flick type movie goes. That was a really, really good chick flick movie that was entertaining for me as a just a guy to watch. So that kind of shows you where it's at.
I've watched The Notebooks once, but I remember liking it. I have to watch it again at some point because it's on my movie poster. But
I've never seen it, probably never will. But I mean, Ryan Gosling, come on, Canadian. How can you go wrong?
Well, and Rachel McAdams also Canadian.
There you go. It's Canadian content, baby.
Yeah.
In fact, both of them grew up like an hour from me. Dox myself a little bit there, I guess, but whatever. I'm pretty sure people here know where I live anyways. Said it enough times.
Can't go wrong.
Well, Faust, I would say this: the worse the chick flick movie is that you take her to, the better your odds are on date night. I think that's the formula there. How much did you have to? It's like my father always said, son, it's the screwing you get for the screwing you got.
Wow.
That's something your father always said?
Yeah.
Was
he
it
also said, don't forget what the prostitute said, sir, you get what you pay for. The prostitute's name was actually Brandy. She was a real prostitute. That's my father.
Also, hey, I didn't add this into the R rating, but the stripper in the movie was a real stripper who danced to that song. She suggested the song they used in the movie.
Oh yeah, Get It Up. Yeah, that's a great song. That was a funny scene when he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take you someplace real classy," and then there's the guy's name. Couldn't stop looking over his shoulder at the strippers and everything, and Foley goes on the whole spiel about it. That was a funny scene. I like that.
Here, take this $1. She'll go wild. I'm like, for $1? How hard were times in the 80s?
It's a little dated.
Yeah.
You try and tuck a single into a stripper's G-string nowadays, she'll probably throw it back at you.
Well, okay, make it that much worse. Come to Canada where the $1 and $2 bills are coins. Here, ma'am. Can I insert it? Never mind.
X-rated.
Although, that being said, I enjoyed that scene. Like, it really showed Foley like having the talent of a cop, right? Knowing what's going on and being able to play it off cool and still get the job done was like really, it was a nice scene.
Yeah, I think he won a lot of respect from
the other two. Yeah, 100%.
Well, the older one for sure. I've blanked on his name already, but
Taggart. Yeah,
I was gonna say Tungsten. I'm like, that can't possibly be right.
It was a great way to see the turning point in their relationship, because that's where they really turned and they bonded over that situation.
Exactly. Yeah,
it was unrealistic and outlandish, but I enjoyed it. It was that, and that's how a lot of the sequences were in the movie. So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna try and get some sleep tonight and actually get some rest, because I haven't been sleeping very well. And
I'll peace out as well, so that Dan can play some games and have some fun.
That's right. Everybody, I'm rating you over to Dan's channel so the fun can continue over there. Dan, what are you going to be playing?
I legit don't know. I was actually just thinking about that myself. I've been really enjoying Dead by Daylight recently.
Yeah, you have.
But I'm still not, as funny as it is, I'm still not 100% sold on the game. I like it, but it feels like it's going to have a very a ceiling, you know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be a time where I'm just like, oh, I've killed enough, I'm good, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that it's gonna be like my game for the next 5 years.
There's a guy at my work, one of the newer guys that just started, and he plays Dead by Daylight like that's his game, and he talks to me about it for hours and hours. Like, I straight walk away from him while he's talking to me, and I will come back later and he's still talking, and there's no one in the store.
That's your fault for telling me you play video games.
I know. I mean, it's almost getting to the point where I'm going to be like, dude, you need to talk to me about a different video game or something else, or just don't talk to me. But
see, Chad doesn't
he's a nice guy, and he's excited about it. But I'm learning all this stuff about Dead by Daylight without ever actually playing it.
Chad doesn't believe me, but I don't like talking. I don't like talking to people, and I really don't like people talking to me. So outside of streaming, I am just a mouse in the corner. I don't talk to nobody unless it is essential. I don't tell anybody anything about me because I don't want to strike up a long conversation that I can't get out of. All right?
Yep. I'm the same way. Everybody thinks I have resting bitch face, and
I mean, that counts on streaming too, let's be fair.
Yeah, let's see that resting bitch face. Can we get him on big screen here, Dan?
This is just me. This is how I look.
Go fuck yourself.
Very inviting.
Yeah.
I think for me, it really depends on the situation. Like, I have warmed up to my coworkers at work. Thank you very much for the raid. So now I am far more open and chatty and will make incredibly inappropriate jokes that I kind of like look at myself and be like, why did I just say that? HR is going to have a field day. But like, if you caught me on the street, or if we ever did like a meet and greet or something, it would probably be super cold. Not that I'd be rude. It would just like, I would be so out of my element to just be like, eh.
You are Canadian after all.
I remember meeting everybody at the summit, and I was so awkward and everything. And thank God for Mobile Gamer, because he actually kind of understands that. And I had told him privately before, I'm like, dude, I'm so nervous to meet people because I'm very, very quiet in real life. I don't like talking to people. I'm not outgoing. In my head, I'm this, but this only comes out when I put headphones on and go live. In real life, I just leave me alone. And Mobile would walk around with me and see me like being a wallflower, and he would like grab me and pull me right into the middle of a big group of people and just force me to engage. And it was so horrifying, but it was a good thing that he did that, because
nice lesson.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. All right. My stream is shut down. I rated over there. Thank you very much, Dan. Have a great night playing video games. Will, you go get some rest too, buddy, so you heal up and you get over your sickness. I hope you're feeling better next time I see you. I do have that alarm set to go watch you do your IRL stream. Tell everybody what you're going to do, and I'm out of here. Bye, chat. See you later.
Bye, Brian. Thank you. Tomorrow we're going to Pizza Corner, which is a corner downtown of Halifax that was named. They have signage called Pizza Corner because on 3 of the corners are pizza shops, or at least it was that way back in the 90s. What's there today? Let's go find out tomorrow.
You
IRL.
haven't been there since the 90s?
No, I've been there, but I didn't want to break
I
the
see.
chat. You know,
Ooh,
I
my
want to
bad,
leave a
my
little
bad.
suspense on the edge of there. Ooh, what are we actually going to eat? Hell if I know.
My apologies for ruining your bit.
No, it's all good.
It's what I do.
That's what I do. It's what I do. Wait, what? Be Ridge, be there, be square on Pizza Corner. All right. Dan, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure as always.
It is always fun to hang out with you as well. These Thursdays, they're one of the things where it's funny. I don't know what it is. I don't want to say I dread them, but it's always like I don't like Thursday. I'm just like, oh man, I'm nervous. What am I going to say about this movie? Am I going to have enough to talk about? Blah blah blah. Get on live with you guys, have a wonderful time, and then it gets to like 10 o'clock, and you guys are both like, I gotta go, and I'm like, do you? Do you have to go?
Yeah,
but I'm enjoying
fun,
this.
right? Yeah, it's so fun. And a part of it too is just like, oh, it's been like most of the week. You're kind of tired. You're run down. You're like, oh, I don't know about this, but then we get all jazzed up while we chat and talk movies that we all love, right? To do
absolutely.
Not that we all love the movies, but we all like to chat and bitch about them. So,
but we all enjoy each other's company and just have a good time chilling and hanging out. And
so I'm looking
forward. The audience keeps growing, so we got to be doing something right.
Exactly.
Not right enough, but right.
Whatever. That's the other thing too, is like I legit appreciate you guys being like, hey, we got to push this. How do we get bigger numbers? I'm just like, I'm just having fun. So whatever comes, whatever. I'm just having fun. So
yeah.
I might, bring some things to the table, but I definitely don't bring those kind of things to the table.
I think you bring more to the table than you realize.
Well, you're too kind.
Think I would happily do this show with just Brian if for some reason you had to duck out or weren't available ever again, but I think it would change the dynamic drastically.
That being said, I will give you 2 dates that I am unavailable coming up soon. All right, I'll DM that.
Sounds good, but appreciate it.
Have a good night, everybody. Cheers, and keep Mongoli honest, chat. Thank you, and good night.
I mean, good luck with that. Have a good one. All right. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't want to go to bed just yet. I did have an energy drink a little earlier because I don't have to get up in the morning. So I figured, what the hell? I'll just kind of hang out. And now that we're here, I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do. We could just do some Dead by Daylight. We could do some Diablo, or we could throw on a brand new Metroidvania and start from scratch. I am easygoing. Either way, let's open up OBS and switch over to that. You ever think you'll review the scary movie franchise? Christ, I hope not. I saw one of them, and we'll see. We were talking recently about doing the Naked Gun franchise, which is another spoof movie, which I've not seen, so could be fun, could be interesting. It would be interesting to talk about the scary movie franchise because maybe Brian or Will bring out something in it that I'm not seeing, but it wasn't my favorite. Oh, you asked it twice. You really wanted to know if I was going to do that or not. I don't really like movies. Legitimately, Bridget? You like movies far too much? I assume you're kidding. That'd work with the new Naked Gun release, and that's why we were talking about it. Brian last week vetoed it pretty hard. Hocus Pocus movies with Mom Ghoulie, Omega, you are not far off. Hocus Pocus is one of my wife's favorite movies. I would bet money if we did Hocus Pocus, she'd join us again. How about old cult movies like Eraserhead? I don't know what Eraserhead is, which I guess answers your question. Eraserhead. Yeah, I have no idea what this is. A film by David Lynch. Interesting. I like David Lynch, theoretically. Are there more than one of them? Eraserhead from 1977 and Eraserhead Stories from 2001. I mean, there's a lot of movies that have Eraserhead in the title, which is kind of surprising. Halloween special. My wife loves them as well. I thought you said your wife would never come on the show, or are you just stating that she does like them? Hocus Pocus 2 was awful in my opinion. I said she liked the first one. In fairness, the first one is one of her favorite movies. Hellraiser movies. I've never seen any of the Hellraisers. I've seen a scene from a Hellraiser movie when I was a kid. I was over at a friend's house. We were not allowed to watch horror movies in my household. So a lot of those like 80s classics I just missed out on or watched way too late in life. And Hellraiser falls into that category. Film, the Halloween Town franchise would be cool for you guys to do. Are there more than one of those? You do Twin Peaks. I'm a big Lynch fan, and I got to have lunch. Oh, that's cool. How'd you get to manage that? OG versus remake movies is a discussion. So my brother and I also, far, far less frequently, have recorded a couple of episodes of our top 5. We're actually going to be doing another one next week while he's in town, which is kind of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. We're going to do our top 5 Tarantino movies. So you can tune in. I don't know when that is. Once I can lock in a time with him, I'll post that on the Discord so you guys all know. I don't know when it is going to be just yet. But that one will be a lot of fun. We usually have pretty decent banter, and we're in the same room, so it's a little easier than talking through a microphone over a camera. A little bit of a delay there sometimes. But we've also thrown out the idea of doing either like, you know how there's been some movies that come out like within 6 months of each other that are like basically the exact same movie, like Armageddon and Deep Impact, either doing like a breakdown of like those kind of like phenomenons and like which one did it better kind of thing, or a remake versus an original and redoing those kind of ideas. Something, we don't know. Probably just stick with the top 5 because that's a little bit easier and fun to do, but it's hard. I sent him one of my older cameras, one of my Elgato face cams, and he couldn't figure it out. Like his computer just wouldn't run it properly, which is highly unfortunate. You're busy Saturday. Boo. I don't know, Bridget. I don't know exactly when it's going to be. I will let you know for sure. Lunch was great, but way over my head. I think you mean Lynch. First Hellraiser's great. Yeah, there's like 4 Halloween Town films. Really? Okay. Yeah, she wouldn't join in, but she'd watch it with me. Okay. So, like, has she not watched any of these before? Like, that was the first. Oh, she'd watched the movie with you. I see what you're saying. I got caught up finally. The typo made that sound really funny. Yeah. Didn't even notice. I was at a QuickTime convention, and at lunch, an old guy asked if he could sit at our table. The fanboy in me squeed. But I kept my composure. I wanted to talk about Dune so much. We talked about Blue Velvet and his farm. It was awesome. Like, he just walked up and asked, like, hey, can I sit with you guys? That's kind of insane. That's amazing, but that's kind of insane. All right. That can't possibly still be accurate. Oh, maybe it can. 1 second. Sorry about the ads. I'm going to end stream temporarily, boot up OBS, and restart the stream. So don't go anywhere and hit refresh in a second, and we'll be right back. I'll type that out because some of you are on ads. I'm gonna log out and start OBS. Hit refresh.